Liam Fletcher jolted awake as a sharp chime echoed through his small apartment. The holographic communicator on his nightstand glowed with an urgent crimson light. Rubbing his eyes, he leaned over and activated the device. The face of Zorak, a Therosian leader, appeared, his expression desperate and eyes wide with worry. "Liam, we need your help." Zorak's voice trembled. "Our Thralinks are dying, and we don't know why." Liam, a veterinarian with a specialty in exotic and endangered species, sat up, the gravity of the situation sinking in. He had seen the Thralinks once before, gentle creatures with an otherworldly beauty, beloved by the Therosians. "Tell me everything, Zorak," Liam said, pushing aside his fatigue. He quickly grabbed a notepad, ready to jot down any details. "The Thralinks are suffering from a disease that we can't identify. It's spreading fast, and our best scientists are at a loss. We've heard of your expertise and your success with Earth's endangered species. Will you come?" Zorak's voice broke, a rare show of emotion for the typically stoic Therosians. Without hesitation, Liam nodded. "I'll be there. Send me all the data you have, and I'll prepare my equipment." As the call ended, Liam's mind raced. He needed to act quickly. He dashed to his lab, where his assistant, Dr. Sarah Lane, was already at work. She looked up, sensing the urgency. "Sarah, we have an emergency on Theros. The Thralinks are in danger. I need to gather our best diagnostic tools and samples of all relevant treatments." Sarah nodded, her face mirroring Liam's determination. "I'll get everything ready. When do we leave?" "Immediately. The Therosians are counting on us," Liam replied, already packing essential medical supplies. Within hours, they were aboard the spaceship Hope Voyager, its sleek design humming quietly as it powered up for the journey. As the ship ascended, Liam glanced back at Earth, his home, feeling a pang of guilt for leaving on such short notice. Yet, the thought of saving an entire species fueled his resolve. The journey to Theros was swift, thanks to the advanced propulsion systems. As they neared the planet, the sight of its vibrant, alien landscape filled the viewscreen. Theros was a planet of lush forests and crystalline waters, a stark contrast to the crisis unfolding below. Upon landing, Liam and his team were greeted by Zorak and a group of anxious Therosians. The sanctuary for the Thralinks was a sprawling complex, surrounded by the natural beauty of Theros. But the sight that met Liam's eyes inside was heartbreaking. Thralinks of all ages lay weak and lifeless, their usual luminous glow dimmed. "Set up the equipment here," Liam instructed his team, his voice firm. "We need to begin examinations immediately." As they worked, Liam met Kira, a young Therosian who had been caring for the Thralinks. Her knowledge of the creatures was invaluable, and her dedication was evident in her every action. "Liam, I've noticed that the Thraling symptoms vary slightly depending on their age and habitat. It might be a clue," Kira said, her voice steady but eyes filled with concern. "Good observation, Kira. Let's start by categorizing the symptoms and running tests on the most affected ones." Liam responded, appreciating her insight. Hours turned into days as Liam and his team worked tirelessly. They discovered that the disease was caused by a rapidly mutating virus, one that defied conventional treatments. The urgency of their mission weighed heavily on everyone, but they pushed on, driven by the hope of finding a cure. One night, as Liam reviewed the latest data, an alert flashed on his screen. The virus had mutated again, this time in a way that threatened to spread to other species, including humans. The sanctuary buzzed with tension as the implications sank in. "We need to act fast," Sarah said, her voice tight with urgency. "If this spreads beyond Theros, the consequences could be catastrophic." Liam nodded, feeling the pressure mount. "We'll have to create a hybrid vaccine, combining our knowledge with Therosian medical technology. It's our only chance." They worked around the clock, experimenting with different formulations. Liam's bond with Kira deepened as they shared long hours and personal stories, finding solace in their mutual dedication. Finally, a breakthrough. The latest test showed promise, but there was no time to celebrate. They needed to administer the vaccine to the most critical cases and monitor the results closely. As Liam injected the first Thrailing with the experimental vaccine, the sanctuary fell silent, everyone holding their breath. Moments passed, and the Thrailing's condition began to stabilize, its glow returning slowly. A wave of relief swept through the team, but Liam knew their work was far from over. They had to produce enough vaccine for all the Thrailings and ensure it was effective against further mutations. Just then, an alarm sounded, signaling a new threat. The hostile faction had discovered their efforts and was preparing to attack. Liam Fletcher stood on the landing platform, his gaze sweeping across the alien landscape of Theros. The planet's lush greenery and crystalline rivers were a stark contrast to the despair etched on the faces of the Therosians gathered to greet him. Their beloved Thrailings, once vibrant and full of life, were now languishing, their condition growing worse by the hour. "Welcome, Liam," Zorak said, his voice tinged with a mix of hope and desperation. "We are grateful for your prompt arrival. Please, follow me." Liam nodded, motioning for his team to bring the medical equipment. They followed Zorak through the sanctuary gates, entering a spacious facility that housed the sick Thrailings. The creatures lay in various stages of illness, their once bright eyes now dull and their movements lethargic. "Let's set up here," Liam instructed his team, choosing a central location that allowed them easy access to all the Thrailings. He turned to Kira, who had been introduced as Zorak's daughter and an expert in Thrailing care. "Kira, I need you to help me understand their usual behavior and diet. Anything that might give us a clue about what's happening." Kira nodded, her expression serious. "Of course, I'll provide all the information you need." As the team set up diagnostic tools and prepared to collect samples, Liam observed the Thrailings closely. He noted their symptoms: fever, lethargy, and a peculiar discoloration of their fur. It was clear the disease was unlike anything he had encountered before. "Dr. Lane," Liam called to his assistant, "start with blood tests and tissue samples. We need to understand the nature of this virus." Sarah Lane worked quickly, her hands steady and precise. The Thrailings, sensing the gentle touch of the humans, remained calm. Kira assisted, providing insights into their habits and any changes she had noticed. "We've seen this discoloration spread rapidly," Kira said, pointing to a Thrailing with patches of greenish fur. "It started with a few individuals, but now it's almost universal." Liam frowned, considering the implications. "It sounds like the virus is mutating. We need to identify its origin and find a way to stop it." Hours turned into days as the team worked tirelessly. They analyzed samples, ran tests, and reviewed data from Therosian records. The breakthrough came when they discovered a common factor. The Thrailing's diet had recently changed due to a new imported plant species. "Look at this," Sarah said, holding up a report. "The plant introduced into their diet contains a compound that seems to trigger the virus." "That's it," Liam said, his eyes lighting up. "We need to create a treatment that counteracts this compound and strengthens their immune systems." The team synthesized a preliminary antidote, a blend of Therosian and Earth-based medicinal properties. As they prepared to test it, Kira approached Liam with a worried expression. "Liam, there's something else," she said quietly. "We've received threats from a faction that opposes human intervention. They believe we should solve this on our own, even if it means losing the Thrailings." Liam's jaw tightened. "We can't let that stop us. These creatures are too important." The first trial of the antidote showed promise. The Thrailing they treated, a young one named Zara, began to regain some of its energy and color. The team felt a flicker of hope as they continued their work, refining the treatment and planning for broader application. But just as they started to administer the antidote to more Thrailings, alarms blared throughout the sanctuary. Liam and Kira rushed outside to find a group of Therosians from the hostile faction, armed and determined to halt their efforts. "You have no right to interfere," shouted the leader, a stern-faced Therosian with a scar across his cheek. "This is our problem, not yours." Liam stepped forward, his voice calm but firm. "We are here to help. If we don't act now, these creatures will die. We've found a solution, but we need time." The standoff grew tense as the faction leader glared at Liam, but Kira intervened, her voice steady. Please, let us save them. If we fail, you can take any action you deem necessary. But give us this chance. After a long, silent moment, the leader lowered his weapon slightly. You have one day. Prove that your solution works. Liam and his team worked through the night, administering the antidote and monitoring the Thralings closely. By morning, the results were undeniable. The Thralings showed significant improvement, their vitality slowly returning. The faction leader, witnessing the transformation, nodded begrudgingly. You have done well, human. We will not interfere further. Relief washed over Liam, but he knew their work was far from over. As they continued to distribute the antidote, a new alert flashed on their screens, an emergency signal indicating that the virus had mutated once again. Liam's heart sank, but he steeled himself. We need to adapt the antidote and act fast. We can't let this setback stop us. Liam Fletcher barely had a moment to rest. As the Thralings showed signs of improvement from the initial antidote, the virus mutated once again. It was a race against time to adapt their treatment. Dr. Lane, we need to reanalyze the latest samples and adjust the formula, Liam said, his voice resolute. Sarah nodded, already moving to gather the necessary data. Kira stood nearby, her eyes reflecting both hope and worry. How much time do we have before the next wave hits? Kira asked, her voice tinged with urgency. Not long, Liam replied. We need to act fast. The team worked tirelessly, combining Earth and Therosian medical knowledge to refine the antidote. As they made progress, a shadow of unease settled over the sanctuary. The hostile faction had been silent since their leader's grudging acceptance, but the threat of sabotage loomed large. One evening, as Liam and Sarah were finalizing the new formula, an alert flashed across the security monitors. An unauthorized breach in the facility. Liam's heart pounded as he grabbed a communicator. Security report, he barked. Intruders in the lab area, Dr. Fletcher. We need assistance. Liam and Sarah raced to the lab, Kira following closely behind. They arrived to find a group of Therosians, led by the same scar-faced leader, attempting to destroy the equipment and samples. Stop! Liam shouted, stepping forward. You're risking the lives of your own people. The leader turned, eyes blazing with determination. You have no right to interfere in Therosian affairs. We will solve this ourselves or not at all. Kira stepped beside Liam, her voice steady and commanding. Enough. These humans are here to help. We've seen the results. If we don't let them continue, we will lose the Thralings. Do you want that on your conscience? The leader hesitated, glancing at the Thralings who had begun to recover. The sight seemed to weaken his resolve. He lowered his weapon slightly, signaling his followers to do the same. You have one more chance, he said through gritted teeth. But if you fail, we will take matters into our own hands. With the immediate threat subdued, Liam and his team returned to their work, now more determined than ever. The sabotage attempt had delayed them, but it also strengthened their resolve. Let's get this right, Sarah said, her voice filled with conviction. For the Thralings, and for the future of Theros. They worked through the night, refining the antidote. As dawn approached, they had a new formula ready for testing. The first trial was on Zara, the young Thraling who had responded well initially. Liam administered the updated antidote, holding his breath as he watched for any signs of improvement. Minutes felt like hours as they waited. Then, Zara's breathing steadied, her eyes brightening. She stood on unsteady legs, a spark of life returning to her. It's working, Liam whispered, relief flooding his voice. Kira's eyes filled with tears as she watched Zara regain her strength. You did it, Liam. You really did it. But their celebration was cut short as another alert blared. This time, it wasn't just a breach, it was a full-scale attack from the hostile faction. The sanctuary trembled as explosions rocked the facility. Liam and his team rushed outside, finding chaos as the faction launched their assault. Zorak and the Therosian defenders were already engaged in combat, struggling to protect the sanctuary. We need to protect the Thralings and the antidote, Liam shouted. He grabbed a medical kit and joined the defenders, using his knowledge to aid the wounded and organize a counterattack. Kira fought alongside him, her determination mirroring his own. They defended the sanctuary with everything they had, refusing to let the attackers destroy their progress. Amidst the battle, Liam saw the faction leader directing the assault. He knew that stopping him was crucial. He moved through the fray, reaching the leader and confronting him. "This ends now," Liam said, his voice firm. "We have the cure. Let us finish our work, or more lives will be lost." The leader hesitated, his eyes filled with conflict. Before he could respond, Kira stepped forward, placing herself between Liam and the leader. "Please," she pleaded. "We've come so far. Let us save the Thrailings." The leader's resolve crumbled. He lowered his weapon and signaled his followers to stand down. The fighting ceased, leaving the sanctuary in tense silence. "You have one last chance," the leader said quietly. "Do not fail us." Liam nodded, his resolve unshaken. "We won't." The team redoubled their efforts, administering the antidote to the remaining Thrailings. As the day progressed, signs of recovery spread throughout the sanctuary. The Thrailings were regaining their vitality, their glow returning with each passing hour. Just as hope began to rise, another alert flashed, this time indicating a new mutation in the virus. Liam felt a wave of exhaustion but pushed it aside. "We need to adapt again," he said, determination unwavering. "We can't let this virus win." Liam Fletcher scanned the horizon from the sanctuary's observation deck. The latest mutation of the virus had them racing against the clock again. But this time, they had the support of the Therosians, including those who had previously opposed their efforts. "Kira, how's Zara responding to the new formula?" Liam asked, turning to his steadfast ally. Kira checked her datapad and smiled. "Zara's condition is stabilizing. The antidote is holding, but we need to move quickly to treat the others." Liam nodded, a sense of urgency driving his every action. "Let's get started." As the team administered the updated antidote, an alarm blared. Zorak's voice echoed through the sanctuary. "Incoming hostile forces. All personnel, prepare for defense." Liam and Kira exchanged a look of determination. "We can't let them disrupt the treatment," Kira said, her voice resolute. They rushed outside to find the sanctuary under siege by the hostile faction. Explosions rocked the area as the attackers advanced, intent on halting their progress. Liam grabbed a medical kit and took cover, formulating a plan to protect both the Thrailings and the antidote. "Sarah, get the antidote secured," Liam ordered through his communicator. "Kira and I will help Zorak hold them off." Sarah's voice crackled back, full of determination. "On it. Be careful, Liam." Kira and Liam joined Zorak at the front lines, using makeshift barriers to shield themselves from the onslaught. The Therosians, inspired by the humans' bravery, fought alongside them with renewed vigor. "We need to hold them here," Zorak shouted over the din of battle. "If they breach the sanctuary, it's over." Liam nodded, his mind racing. "We can do this. Focus on keeping them back. Every minute we hold them off gives the antidote more time to work." As the battle raged, Liam spotted the hostile faction leader directing his forces from a distance. He knew that taking him out could turn the tide. "Kira, cover me," Liam said, preparing to move. "I'm going after their leader." Kira nodded, providing suppressive fire as Liam darted through the chaos. He reached the leader, engaging in a fierce struggle. Their combat was intense, but Liam's determination drove him forward. He managed to disarm the leader, forcing him to the ground. "It's over," Liam said, breathing heavily. "Call off your men." The leader looked up, defeated. "You think you've won? This isn't just about the Thrailings." Liam tightened his grip. "This is about saving lives. Call them off now." The leader hesitated, then signaled a retreat. The attacking forces began to pull back, leaving the sanctuary battered but intact. Liam stood up, helping the leader to his feet. "We can still work together. The Thrailings need us, all of us." The leader looked at him, a flicker of respect in his eyes. "Perhaps. Let's see if you can truly save them." With the battle over, Liam and Kira hurried back to the sanctuary. Sarah met them at the entrance, her face alight with hope. "The antidote is working," she said. "The Thrailings are recovering." "We did it, Liam." Liam allowed himself a brief smile. "We did it together. But we need to stay vigilant. This virus is unpredictable." Days passed as the team continued their work, administering the antidote and monitoring the Thrailings. Slowly but surely, the creatures regained their strength, their glow returning to full brilliance. One evening, as the sun set over Theros, Zorak gathered the team and the Therosian Council for a ceremony. The sanctuary was filled with a sense of accomplishment and unity. "Today, we celebrate not just the recovery of the Thrailings, but the bond we forged," Zorak said. "Liam Fletcher, Kira, Sarah Lane, and all who have worked tirelessly. Your dedication has saved our beloved companions. We owe you a debt of gratitude." Liam stepped forward, humbled. "This was a team effort. We faced many challenges, but we overcame them together. The Thrailings' recovery is a testament to what we can achieve when we work as one." The crowd cheered, the atmosphere electric with relief and joy. As the ceremony concluded, Kira approached Liam, her eyes shining. "You're staying for a while, right?" she asked. Liam smiled. "For as long as I'm needed. There's still work to be done to ensure the Thrailings' long-term health. And besides, I've come to like this place." Kira left. "Theros has a way of growing on you." As they stood together, watching the Thrailings frolic under the stars, Liam felt a profound sense of fulfillment. He had come to Theros to save a species, but he had found something more, a connection that transcended worlds. Yet, even as they celebrated, a new signal came through Liam's communicator. It was a distress call from another distant planet. Liam knew that their work was never truly done. "Looks like we have another mission," he said, showing the message to Kira. "Ready for another adventure?" Kira grinned. "Always."